Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be going over the Kershaw comeback. I'm going to be reviewing the Kershaw comeback. Let me start off by saying I really like this knife. When I saw it on Birdshot's channel during the pandemic, that Birdshot channel was the first place I heard of it. Okay, I'm gonna start off on fit and finish, and I had to look up some of these things by like weight. I don't have a scale, so it felt heavy, and I wanted to see how heavy it was. It's like 4.5 ounces if the website's to be believed, but it feels a little heavier than that. But I mean, this I carried this knife all week, and it was a pleasure to carry. So take what you will from that. I mean, it wasn't too heavy to carry for all those people that like to carry knives that are 2.5 ounces. It's 2 ounces heavier, but it was fine to carry for me. Anyway, the blade to handle ratio is it's perfect. I mean, it is almost like I can't touch the blade, but it's like within 1/8 of an inch. So the blade to handle ratio is fantastic. You get a lot of blade for this handle. When I got it, and I don't take apart the knives, and I don't I do these reviews with knives straight from the factory or straight from the vendor. I don't do pre-disassembly to fix it. I want to review it fresh out of the box. So knife the knife's not centered. If you look at it from the back end, it's slightly leaning to the left. So it's not perfectly centered. Yeah, I can fix that, but I thought you should know from the factory it's not straight. It's not perfectly centered. It features a drop point and a flat grind, which is perfectly fine with me. It just barely drops. The jimping, there's jimping on it, jimping on the blade. It's just more of a look, and there's jimping on the flipper tab. It's very soft, but I appreciate there being jimping. Some manufacturers are not including the jimping on the flippers. It's not usually bad, but I just like the look of it, and I like the feel of it. So the Detent is, I would rate the Detent on a scale of like low, medium, and hard. I would rate it on the like a medium hard. It's medium, but it's not. I mean, it doesn't hurt the flip. You can flip all day, and your finger will not hurt, and it's easy to flip. But there is enough detent there to like just get it perfect out of the gate. I should show the drop shutty action. I mean, I don't have to close it. It's a one hand operation. Yeah, out of the box. It's pretty good. I mean, for a budget blade. I mean, you can't say the blade is heavy. It just has a good action. So, the frame lock, I judge it as about 40% lockup. I don't know if that's good. I think it's good. 40 to 50% lockup is fine with me. I don't like a lockup that's 20% or less. I mean, that kind of scares me. But it's a 40% lockup. What I found about the lockup in general, I think this spacing is just too much. I don't mind the spacing up top for the lockup, but why does this have to be this gap have to be this wide? I just don't like it. It kind of hurts the non-presentation side. Yeah. But anyway, this branding. Branding is, I think it's perfect. You probably can't see it. There's branding on this insert Kershaw, and frankly, they could have went just with that and not put branding on the blade. But the branding's subtle on the blade, so it's pretty fine. About the other side, can't anybody make the China logo like a symbol or like just small type? I mean, if it doesn't say US, maybe take the China off there. If it didn't say US, I'll take it was made in China, because it doesn't say US. I think China, I mean, nothing against China, but China cheapens the blade. And then the model number, I don't mind. I think the model number and whatever this maker's mark could just, it's the maker's mark for Kershaw. They could just be all treated tiny along there. And then I would remove the blade steel, because it's 8CR13 MOV. Big deal. I mean, so I just would make all this smaller. Hardware, it's very nice looking. I like the pivot. It's simple. It's like a concave, and it's black. It's just it's better than usual. I like a plain pivot sometimes, and then I like the screw, the other hardware. It's all countersunk. They didn't use any round over screws. They didn't cheap their way out. Even these screws are flat heads on the clip, and it only has 2 screws. It's the hardware is, I think it's perfect, and it's nice looking. For a clip, I think it's nice looking. I don't know what this means. It's nice looking. It almost looks like a pencil with a eraser in the middle, or in the top. But I like the clip. I don't necessarily like how the clips on this high post, but maybe they couldn't have wrapped it around. I don't know. And give you a deep carry clip, but it's not bad. I don't have. Oh, maybe I can show you how it carries using my card. So, that's all that sticks out. So that's not bad. And yeah, that's pretty good. So I think the clip, if you can see where the clip raises up, it would be better is if it would raise up and then like maybe go straight a little ways, or a little ways, that maybe a 1/16 to the 1/8 of an inch, because you feel it in hand, you know. And it's not sharp or anything, but I mean, it seems like a missed opportunity to they rounded off everything else, and you can feel the clip. But I mean, it's not bad. So I want to put out one other point in the fit and finish. I think it's a missed opportunity to like give this thing a lanyard hole. I like the design. I don't want to see a hole drilled in it, but and it may not be possible, but because the blade fits so close to the end of the handle, but using these two holes, because the clip is reversible, I don't see why it couldn't like a cutout for the blade, but like extend just a little bit further, like maybe a aluminum back spacer or end spacer. You could they could have had came out a little ways and providing a sort of a slot this wide, maybe half this wide, to attach a lanyard. I mean, I'm a big lanyard fan, but I don't know. I don't need to have a lanyard always, but I mean, but I'm not going to dock it for not having a lanyard space or hole or anything. I think it's fine. But okay, so I'm going to give it fit and finish. Based off all these points, and I really thought about it, I think I'm going to score it 4 out of 5 points on fit and finish. For a budget blade, I think it's pretty well made and pretty well finished. Next is handle materials, and this it's steel handles, and it's gray in color, and it has a slight wash over it. It really looks nice. It has a matte finish due to the wash, so it's slightly gray in color, but it's nice. For handles, you see how it has like a slight dip there, like it's less than this side for the frame, and it making it easy for it to disengage the lock. So I got to give them props for not failing to like give us access to the frame lock, so you didn't have to squeeze your finger in there. It's really nice. And then I can get a 4-finger grip on it. I think my hands are medium to large. I think my hands are pretty large, but I can get all 4 fingers on it, and it's comfortable, and it feels good in hand. I mean, you can feel this clip, but it's not uncomfortable because it's all rounded over and everything, so it feels it's a good materials, even though it's steel. I want to say the back spacer, it complements the design. It doesn't hurt the design. I know it being plastic, I think this is plastic because I didn't disassemble it, but I think it's plastic. It doesn't look and feel like G10. It's probably like a FRN or Grivery or whatever. It's just a plastic, and but this if you can see this checkout, like I don't know what to call it. It's like a checker pattern. It's nice. Could be nicer if it was like a colored G10 or just a micarta or whatever. It could be nicer, but the spacer comes through the hole in the handle that forms the Kershaw logo. So I'm gonna score the handle materials a 4 out of 5. It's adequate for a budget knife. For the steel, this next category of the steel, it's a nice drop point. I really like this. I mean, it's kind of under the category of steel, and this is a nice wash. You know, it's a simple, nice wash, and for the I don't want to. I did all the testing off screen. It cuts paper. I did some box cutting, cardboard cutting, and opened up mail, and I did just some slicing through paper, and it's very sharp out of the box. I didn't have any problem with it. I mean, it didn't snag or have any trouble getting through the cuts that I made. I think it's got a good factory edge on it, and I've had some 8CR 13 MOV blades that came dull up from the factory. So, but it's nice, and I think it would be easy to sharpen, of course. But other than that, there's the jimping on the blade, the top of the blade, and it's just for looks, but it looks good. I mean, I appreciate it from a design ability or design eye. I feel that, I know it's a budget blade, but can't they do away with this 8CR 13 MOV steel? I mean, most people are saying that about D2. Can they do away with D2? But I would like it to be D2 rather than this steel. And I think even staying within a budget, it could be D2 steel or something, a little bit more upgraded steel. So I think it kind of hurts it. It's just like average. I'm gonna rank the steel as a 3. Ergonomics. So the ergonomics on the handle, I think it's a bit heavy for a small blade. I mean, this blade is not as large as you think. It looks small, and I know the handle's heavy too, but overall the whole package is a handle. I think they could have shaved an ounce off, and I don't know where. Probably I don't know if they could weight relieved the inside of there. They didn't. It's pretty thin already, but maybe go with aluminum handles instead of the steel. But anyway, I think it's good on ergonomics. The edges are nicely round over. That you can feel the clip. The clip is not bad though. Overall, it feels slightly good, but I want to rank it like average. You know, I mean, it's not like super great, or it's kind of average. I mean, with the weight, I think it's average in the hand. So I'm gonna rank it a 3 on Ergonomics, a 3 out of 5. And okay, fidgetability. That's where it shines. It's a great smooth action. I mean, a great detent. I mean, drop shetty. Access to the frame lockup is fantastic. I mean, you can get straight there, you know, and it's super drop shetty. I'm almost afraid to open this knife because I'm afraid to screw up the action. I mean, I probably won't screw up the action, but it has a really good action. I'm guessing it's under bearings, and I'm not sure. I should have looked it up before, but it feels like bearings, but it may be just washers. But it's fantastic action. I'll have to update you on when I find that out. That's the only thing I didn't look up, what it was on bearings or washers. But I think the fidgetability is really great on this knife, and I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5. It's right on. Okay, design. The next category is design, and overall, I like the design. It has like a look at almost not feeling like a budget knife. This I don't mind this black thing with the branding on it, but I wish it was like a richer, more better material, like carbon fiber or like just aluminum. I think that this hurts it being a cheap look. It would, I mean, the cutout could add some flair to it, like being a better material. And if they would upgrade the steel, just finding out that's 8CR 13 MOV, I think it hurts it in design too, because already it gives you a feeling that it's cheap, you know, and cheap, you know, a feeling that cheap hurts the design too. It doesn't affect the looks, but it hurts the design, you know, the overall design, because people don't really like cheap steel. But you know, the cutout, the spacing between the frame lock and the rest of the frame, that kind of hurts it too. But if you just look at the, you know, the screws being flush set, it's good. And then the pivot really looks good, and the overall, the color and stuff. But if you just look at the presentation side, it just looks fantastic. Even with the blade out, it looks really good. But I'm going to give, it's not quite there. I'm going to give it 4 points, and 4 points isn't bad. I mean, it's better than 3. So on design, I'm going to score it 4 out of 5. And for me, I'm going to award it the coolness factor of like +1 point. So the total score is like 23, and if it stayed at a 23, it would be buy if you're a fan. But with the 1 point, and I didn't purposely make this +1, I think it's cool. It made it to 24, and 24 was the cutoff on buy. So for me, it's a good buy. I think it's a good choice. So I'm gonna pair it up with some other just budget blades so you can see what you're dealing with for the size. And I don't remember what this name is, or this blade is, but it's definitely a budget blade, and it's the same steel, but it's Kershaw. Sorry, I don't remember. It's a speed safe knife, and it's quite ugly. This next one, I think it's speed safe too, but it doesn't feel as shitty as speed safe usually feel, and I kind of like the knife. It's plagued with the same spacing as this. This is like a Les George design, and I really like this knife, but I'll probably review it later. So those were like about the same size. Here's another budget blade, and I like the pivot in there. Yeah, and this handle, this clip is really good because it moves into the handle. I'll review this too. It's not a speed safe, or it's not a speed safe, and it's a Sinkovich design, and it's definitely like a cheaper knife, but I really like it. And if as you've seen, I failed the flip ability, but it's not got a strong detent. So all these blades are kind of the same size. Here's another, like, can you guess what this knife is? It's a really shitty Kershaw. But it's a speed safe knife, and it's a budget blade, but it's horrible. I don't even know who its design is linked to, but it's probably the budget blade that I laid down. It's just bleh. It's horrible. And then I'm gonna compare it to like the size to a new knife I got, a Finch design, or I'm drawing a blank on the name, but it's a Finch blade, the Takuna. It's 154 cm, and I'm going to do a review of this knife later, but it's about adequate. You can see the handle is a little bit smaller, so imagine using this jimped area. I can get all 4 fingers on there, but if I skip that, I have a hard time getting all 4 fingers on there. So this knife is nice, you can get all 4 fingers on there. So, and maybe I'll compare it to this, the Apache, which I'm going to do a review over next. I don't know if I get it out tomorrow, but this will be my next review. And it's not a budget now, and this is not a budget knife, so. But it was about the same size. Okay, I'm going to wrap up the review. It's probably a long review, but I haven't done like a full knife review in a long time. So thanks for listening to me and watching my video. I hope it was interesting to you, and I do recommend the Kershaw Comeback, and it's a great budget knife, and it's a great fidgetability knife, and it's a great slicer, great cutter. I mean, I don't imagine I don't know what I paid for it. I think it's about a $40 knife, $40 to $45 knife. and it's definitely worth $40 to $45. So so thanks, and come back.